Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance The Hidden Message. Rich in symbolism and subliminal meanings, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance exemplified his trademark use of music as a vehicle for societal criticism. Here are 7 key points highlighting the hidden messages in his performance. Number 7. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. Samuel L. Jackson's Uncle Sam costume made a dramatic visual statement at the start of Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. This character, who represents American ideals and pride in the country, is frequently linked to patriotic images. Jackson's portrayal, though, was more complex and nuanced in this setting. Jackson represented a government official attempting to regulate or sway Lamar's speech by taking on the persona of Uncle Sam. This depiction is evocative of Uncle Tom cliches from the past, in which characters are either exploited to uphold social rules or are perceived as complicit in their own subjugation. Jackson, however, provided commentary on the fight against structural oppression and the manner in which social standards can be both upheld and contested during this performance. In addition to highlighting the conflict between conformity and rebellion, the usage of such a well-known character as Uncle Sam prepared the audience for Lamar's performance as a potent act of social satire and resistance. Furthermore, Jackson's look was a reference to the background of African-American life in the U.S. It made reference to the long-running fight for justice and equality, in which the state's authority over underprivileged groups has been symbolized by characters like Uncle Sam. In order to question the status quo and promote change, Lamar and Jackson were able to reclaim and reinterpret these emblems by inverting this imagery. This moment was more than simply a visual trick. It was a profound reflection on the intricate relationships between identity and power in America. Number 6. The revolution's about to be televised. While performing, Kendrick Lamar made reference to Gil Scott-Heron's well-known poem, "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." Lamar modified this expression, though, to state that the revolution is about to be televised. This minor phrasing change has important implications and represents a change in the way social change is viewed and communicated in the contemporary world. The original poem by Scott-Heron, written in the 1970s, implied that mainstream media would not be able to capture or regulate real societal change. It served as a call to action, imploring people to become involved with the issues of their day head-on and see past the cursory reporting of occurrences. By changing the wording, Lamar conveyed the idea that change is not just occurring right now, but is also being widely disseminated. This message emphasizes the possibility for broad knowledge and action, as well as the media's ability to propagate social discourse. In the current digital era, social movements and revolutions are frequently broadcast on television, streamed online, and disseminated on social media. Because of the scrutiny and occasionally co-optation of movements by mainstream narratives, this visibility can both generate support and pose new difficulties. This change is acknowledged in Lamar's rendition of Scott-Heron's term, which implies that the revolution is no longer concealed but rather is being broadcast to the globe, inviting spectators to interact with its message. Number 5. Video game motifs. One noteworthy aspect of Kendrick Lamar's performance was the stage design, which was modeled after a PlayStation controller. Lamar's journey through the American ideal, where success is frequently presented as a game to be won, was symbolized by this graphic pattern. The term "game over," which could mean different things to different people, marked the end of the performance. It might imply that the current system is faulty or unsustainable, and offer a critique of the music industry or social conventions. On the other hand, it might symbolize Lamar's own path, in which he has negotiated and surmounted obstacles in the field to become a prominent hip-hop voice. The imagery from video games also relates to the more general themes of survival and rivalry that Kendrick Lamar frequently addresses in his songs. He talks about the hardships of growing up in Compton and overcoming a system that was set up to keep him back in several of his songs. Lamar emphasizes the strategic aspect of his ascent to prominence and the methods he has outwitted challenges to accomplish his objectives by presenting his accomplishment as a game. Thus, the "game over" message might be interpreted as a victory declaration, signaling the close of one chapter and the start of a new one in Lamar's career. Number 4. Critique of the music industry. References to financial traps and the mistreatment of musicians in the music business were made by Kendrick Lamar during his performance. His song Wesley's Theory highlights themes of structural injustice and economic inequality while criticizing the ways in which musicians are frequently exploited monetarily. In order to challenge the status quo and promote better treatment of artists, Lamar used his platform to perform this song during the Super Bowl. The power dynamics at work in the music industry, where musicians frequently find it difficult to keep control over their work and finances, are brought to light by this critique. The performance was also a commentary on the broader societal issues that underpin these industry practices. Themes of capitalism and consumerism are frequently explored in Lamar's music, emphasizing the ways in which these structures can marginalize and exploit particular communities. Lamar was able to reach a big audience and start discussions about equity and fairness in the entertainment industry by tackling these problems on such a grand scale. His criticism focused on structural issues that impact numerous artists and communities rather than just individual complaints. Number 3. America Symbolism. Some saw Kendrick Lamar in his dancer's white attire during the performance as a reference to Colin Kaepernick's demonstrations against institutional racism in the United States. In this instance, wearing white could be interpreted as a statement about the racial tensions and injustices that Black Americans experience, as well as a symbol of purity or solidarity. The word America itself is a potent symbol that is frequently used to criticize tyranny and racism in the U.S. Lamar's performance highlighted the continuous fight for racial equality and justice by combining these components. The darker themes of racism and oppression that Lamar addressed during his performance also stood in stark juxtaposition to the imagery of white garments. The conflict between the terrible realities that many communities confront and the ideals of American civilization, such equality and fairness, was brought to light by this graphic juxtaposition. Lamar was able to make a strong point about the necessity of ongoing activism and awareness by employing this symbolism, highlighting the fact that the battle against racism is far from ended. Number 2. Drake Diss. During one part of his performance, Kendrick Lamar performed the diss hit Not Like Us, which was directed at Drake. The two singers have been engaged in an extended public dispute in which they have exchanged lyrical insults. Lamar used his position to speak out against the power dynamics in the music industry by playing this song during the Super Bowl. The diss track is a commentary on the competitive nature of the industry and the ways in which artists are frequently pitted against one another, in addition to being a personal critique of Drake. Lamar's reputation as a fierce competitor who doesn't hesitate to voice his opinions was also reflected in the inclusion of this diss track. Lamar's skill as a lyricist and his readiness to question other musicians and business conventions have been hallmarks of his career. Lamar solidified his standing as a prominent hip-hop artist, admired for his honesty and dedication to artistic integrity, by publicly addressing Drake. As a result, the performance covered more ground than just personal feuds. It also touched on hip-hop's larger cultural background, which combines creativity and rivalry. Number 1. Social commentary and activism. Using his position to draw attention to significant issues and question social conventions, Kendrick Lamar tackled topics of racism, identity, and social justice during his Super Bowl performance. Lamar's talent to include intricate social criticism into his songs has long been acknowledged, and this performance was no different. Lamar showed his dedication to activism and his position as a spokesman for underrepresented groups by fusing components such as the America iconography with criticisms of the music business. His performance was a potent reminder of the influence art can have on public conversation and the significance of using one's position to promote change. Lamar's method of social criticism is distinct in its complexity and subtlety. He explores the fundamental systems and mechanisms that support inequality rather than only addressing concerns at the surface level. He pushes his audience to think critically about the world and their own roles in bringing about change by doing this. Thus, the Super Bowl performance was more than just a musical performance. It was a cultural event that provoked discussions and introspection about the status of society and the transformational potential of art. To sum up, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance was a brilliant fusion of social criticism, symbolism, and music. Lamar solidified his position as a prominent voice in modern music and activism by addressing issues of justice, identity, and industry critique through his lyrics and pictures. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.